Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I want to talk about who I believe are the best steals in this year's NBA draft. And right here, the only first round pick is Satya Aldema, who I think is the biggest steal. So before we start today's video, I'd love to hear those opinions down below on my list. Any players that I might have missed that you believe will be huge steals. A lot of these players I thought were first round talents that I guess I was wrong. But let's go in and let's talk about Satya Aldema. So smart by the Memphis Grizzlies to go get this guy in the first round because now they have him guaranteed 4 years. And part of the reason I believe they traded for that pick and the reason why they believe they got him in the first round when they might have been able to get him in the second round is I think if he probably told NBA teams don't draft him in the second round because he's probably gonna, if they had drafted him in the second round, he probably would have went overseas till he was 25, and when he turned 25 you can renegotiate the contract and make even more money. But by being drafted in the first round, he gets guaranteed 4 years, and there's no reason for him to go overseas unless he wants to do 1 year like Leandro Baltimore does, so he gets playing time. But I truly believe on Memphis he can get playing time. So he averaged 12 over 21 points, over 10 rebounds, over 2 assists a game, 1.7 blocks. And the only other players that have averages like that or better since 92-93 are Tim Duncan, David West, Andrew Bogut, Jason Thompson, Lamine Diane. And he also averaged about 2 made threes per game and a steal game while shooting 51% from the field and 37% from 3. Santi Aldama, or I heard someone say Aldama. They said it weird. I thought it was Aldama. But tell me if that's how I saw it. Either way, I think I'm going to make a full video on him later. The Thunder, they get a steal with Jeremiah Robinson Earl, who I had going at the end of the first round. He's the perfect modern day small ball 5, stretch 4. Yeah, he isn't a great shooter, but I believe that the Thunder can do that. His IQ is through the roof, and he's a perfect fit for what Mark Dagnall. And what I realized the Thunder are doing is the Thunder don't care for a big man anymore. Their big man is going to be a rotation of Darius Bazley, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Isaiah Roby, Kenrick Williams, and I'm trying to think if they have another big man on the roster. Because then that'll be their front court, and then at small forward they can rotate Pokusevski, and they drafted, I'm like blanking on who they drafted right now. Can I not remember 6 right now? How can I not remember 6? I literally did the NBA draft. How am I blanking on the 6th pick right now? NBA draft. What? How does someone blank on the 6th pick? It wasn't Scotty Barnes. It was was it Jalen Suggs? No, it wasn't Jalen Suggs. They took Josh Giddey. Holy crap, that was bad, guys. That was bad. How did I just blank on that? Josh Giddey and Trey Mann and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then you add that with also Theo Maledon. And they also have at small forward Lou Dort. Holy crap, this team is just be about all transition, offense and defense. And they're just going to say screw a prototypical center. We're just going to have the rotation of these undersized centers, and I think it'll work really well for them. Neemias Queta, he's the best rim protector in the draft. He's a lob threat, and he's capable of playing 20 minutes right now. I don't know why I wrote enough. But yeah, right now. Chicago, they get the perfect. Ayo Dosunmu is going to play great off of Levine. He's a second. Both Levine and Ayo Dosunmu aren't primary ball handlers, so they can split the role. Like whenever Dosunmu comes in the game, he's probably going to play like 15-20 minutes a night. And yeah, he's a 35% college career three-point shooter, but he has the athleticism, vision, and defensibility and length to be a good role player in the NBA. Charlotte gets multiple players that I thought were really nice, but JT Thor, they snag him in the late round, and they didn't draft a big man until Kai Jones. They get Kai Jones and JT Thor, basically 2 players who could have similar skill sets. Spurs get the shooting that they needed in Joe Weiskamp, who I recently talked about. Joe Weiskamp is a better defender and a better athlete than Duncan Robinson, and he's 80% or 70% of the shooter that Duncan Robinson is right now. So I think Joe Weiskamp could actually be a useful 3 and D wing in the league. the Hawks still somehow got Sharif Cooper, and they got Jalen Johnson. So they got themselves a wing who he's a good rebounder, defender, and a playmaker, and only needs to work on his shooting. And Jalen Johnson. Then they get Sharif Cooper, who can run the second unit. Yeah, he can score inside. He's got quickness, good ball handling skills, good passing. He just needs to work on his jump shot. The Jazz, they get Jared Butler. Okay, they get Jared Butler, a guy who won a national championship, and he's so tenacious on ball. He's so good. I had him as the first round. I also want to say Jared Butler, JT Thor, Neemias Queta, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, DeSumo, Butler, McBride, Edwards, all had first round grades in my opinion, on my books. So Butler, you got a great guy who he's not an elite at anything. He's probably his best skill is his perimeter defense, but besides that, he's not an elite passer, but he's a good passer. He's not an elite scorer, but he's a good scorer. He's not an elite shooter, but he'll probably be a career 37 to 40%. And I think he's going to be a high-level backup or a decent starter. Miles McBride, all-defensive Big 12. He was like 40%, 16 points per game scorer. I think he's going to be a similar player like Jared Butler, but like, because he's smaller, I think he's going to be like a career high-level backup. And he's just perfect for Tom Thibodeau, and he's going to just come out behind. You know, the Knicks got like some good players in this draft, and at 25, well, they stick it and they got themselves, I'm trying to think of who they got at 25, right? They stuck their guns because they traded with the Clippers, and I'm like blanking. I just watched the entire NBA draft, and I can't even remember looking at the picks after doing it. We're sitting there for 3 hours. The Knicks drafted, it wasn't Jaden Springer, was it? No. Knicks choice. I gotta do this before I blank. I need to pull this up. You guys are probably hating me right now. NBA draft. I just had a... It's embarrassing that this is happening right now. Alright. I accept. Okay, this is just embarrassing. So yeah, Quinn Grimes. Quinn Grimes was great for them. He was a steal, but Miles McBride and Quinn Grimes, great backcourt for them now. Sorry, that just took out the time for so long. David Johnson, if anybody's going to fix and make sure his jumper is good, it's going to be our guy, Mr. Nick Nurse, who invented the red like Nick Nurse pill. And David Johnson is a perfect fit, like the future backcourt of Malachi Flynn, David Johnson, Fred VanVleet, and Gary Trent Jr. Then with Scotty Barnes as the power forward, at small forward, you could run. I mean, I'm not gonna say Yoda Watanabe, but if they can get Jared Allen or bring back Chris Boucher, it'll be interesting. Pascal Siakam, really, Scotty Barnes would be small forward, and Pascal Siakam would be the power forward. So I like that. Kessler Edwards, they get a shooter. Pepperdine, if you guys did not know, is where PCA is, Pacific Coast Academy. Zoe 101, he played 3 years there. Basically, he showed he can shoot NBA threes. He can shoot over anyone. He's got size, 6'8". Basically, think Trey Murphy, but a guy who played 3 years at a college, but similar build and similar skill set, Kessler Edwards. And then the Sixers get a good project big man who could be their poor man, Joel Embiid. He can score inside, rebound, and he might have a jumper, and his only issue might be his knees. And then the Knicks get themselves an athletic, jumpy, high-flying, shot-blocking big man in Jericho Sims at the end of the draft. So besides my little shitty banter, what do you guys think of this? Tell me down below any players that I missed out. But besides that, that's it for me today, guys. Peace. Oh.